From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Yes, indeed. It is For the People, and proudly welcoming you to this Tuesday's edition. It's August the 15th, 2017, hour number 2. Remember, 1 and 2. If you've ever missed a particular hour, you can always go to our website at forthepeopleshow.com. But this radio station being the gold standard, so make sure you always tune it there. It always sounds to me better on the radio, doesn't it? I mean, the radio just is special. You can take it with you. You don't have to mess and fumble and all that with your phone. But the next best thing is if your station doesn't carry it, then I always say then you can listen to it on podcast. But our website, always effective, always on, 24 hours a day. Our store page is there. You can learn more about us and all that good stuff. So there is a seat vacant, it's been vacant, and that is to fill Jeff Sessions' seat. And Christian talk radio host James Dobson, who I got to tell you, I have nothing but respect. I would kiss the ring. I listened to this guy when I was so young, matter of fact, a kid, into my teens and adult years, with Focus on the Family out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, did so much as a child psychologist. And he's got into politics, and he's always got somewhat political with his talk show, but he really has, I would say, in the last couple decades, really got political. He stepped down, I think, as the chairman of the Focus on the Family group, and he does a talk show that is more politically than offering, advice to families and stuff like that. But Dr. James Dobson, again, Christian talk radio host, he is announcing his pick to fill the Senate vacancy left by Attorney General Jeff Sessions and voicing his support for former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore. In the U.S. Senate seat for Alabama, Dobson said to WorldNet Daily that he is pleased to back Moore for the Senate. He says, "It's my pleasure to be among the many solid conservatives," and I liked how he said that, solid conservatives, who are not wavering, who are supporting Judge Roy Moore's candidacy for the United States Senate. Dobson told the website, "I've known Judge Moore for over 25 years, and I know him to be a man of proven character and integrity. I often ask God to raise up men and women of faith who will govern the nation with biblical wisdom. I believe Judge Moore to be such a man for this time." He added that as a private individual, Dobson is honored to endorse Roy Moore for the United States Senate and claimed that he prays Moore's election will be the start of a new generation of leaders who will return this nation to the constitutional principles upon which we were founded. He says, "I urge my friends in Alabama to get to the polls today and vote for Judge Roy Moore for the United States Senate." All right, Alabamans. Isn't that what they? Yeah, it's Alabamans. You got to have it with some accent. So there you go, folks. And I really like Dr. Dobson. And I really like Moore. Moore for Senate. I like this. Judge Roy Moore. If you're in Alabama, go vote for him for Senate. I think he'd be a great senator. I think he'll be terrific, folks. Biblical wisdom. Wow. Govern this nation with biblical wisdom. Man, I mean, he says this so clearly. And that's why I like Dr. Dobson, because he doesn't waver and he's not afraid to be a conservative. I can hear that Huey Lewis tune, "It's hip to be square," and if it is, then it's fine. That's okay. It's a shame that the conservatives have to be labeled as anything but from the left. And I think why it is because it reveals how tarnished they really are. They don't want to admit it, and they won't admit it. It's kind of like a religion. And for some politics and how some people play it, it's almost like that's what it is. It's like if you're a Jew and you're trying to convert somebody to Christianity, or you're, a Christian and somebody's trying to convert you over to become an Islam. Imam says, come and Allah's great. And you're like, I don't worship your God. I believe Jesus, and he says the prophet. Oh, no, he wasn't who he said he was. I mean, you'd get offended by it. You'd be twisted with it. And I think for some, it's become that, and I think that's why it's become so contentious in our country, and it's become such a blood sport. I mean, and it's, this is dated back for so many years in our own country here, and we've gone through so many struggles to be able to get to where we're at right now, but there's always a fight. It's always a fight. Winston Churchill said it. He said, politics is war. And there's so many political elements to politics. You say, oh, I don't get political. No, I stay out of politics. Is that you? There's people that tell me that all the time. And I said, you're kidding me. I said, where do you work? There's no politics there? I said, where do you go to church? There's no politics there? Who are your friends? There's no politics there? Where do you go? Where's the country club? No politics there. Are you kidding me? It follows everyone. And people are constantly sizing you up for what you believe, what you stand for. The unfortunate thing for so many in our country, they've forgotten what it is that they have stood for. Or if they haven't forgotten it, they're sitting. They're not making any more noise. They're tired. A lot of the tired people that I'm talking about now stood up for Donald Trump. They let their voice be heard. They cast their ballot. And they got him in. Don't continue to sit. It's a time to, more than ever, allow people your brilliance, your understanding of why it is that you have embraced conservatism. You should wear it as a badge of honor. It should be a good thing. There was a time where Democrats actually embraced a lot of the things that the conservative right embraced. Accountability seems to be not one of them. Or even the reminder of history. Or reality for what it is, because there's these alternate realities going on, and so many people don't like it. Google and Amazon and all these, they're putting together these alternate worlds where people actually will lose themselves one day, where if you don't like the reality, where you can just put on these goggles and you can totally lose it. Well, people are already doing it with gaming, but unlike we've never seen it before. People will just be able to just cut loose. There's been sci-fi movies have shown people to do that, where they get fed with hooked up like you're an IV, like you're in a hospital. And you can just lose yourself for weeks on end. You don't have to do anything other than just be wherever you want to be. It sounds bizarre, but people have totally disconnected from reality in so many different places in this country. It's evident. It's evident. And so many people that are in politics disconnected from its people. And to me, it's no wonder why there's this disparity. And it's been going on for a long time. And I blame a lot of the politicians. I blame Washington. I blame the establishment for not teaching and not telling and not passing down. People like wall builders. You need to look them up. These people have been on the move since the early 90s, traveling around the country. David Barton's wall builders. I first interviewed David Barton. You got to look him up, wall builders, in Memphis, Tennessee, when I was a talk show host there in my early 20s. But educating us about our history and about our religious history. And we have a big-time religious history, steeped deep in religion. You can't help but go to the Capitol, can't help but go to a lot of capitals, but Washington, D.C., and not see Scripture written. What are they going to take down the Scriptures next? Because it offends them? Because it was part of our national heritage, our American history, your American heritage. Well, there's the same ones that say this is not my president. It'll be the same ones asking for that very thing to happen. By the way, Senator John McCain is coming to the aid, coming to the rescue. He's trying to defend Donald Trump's national security advisor, H.R. McMaster, after some on the right have called for his firing. Now, these recent attacks upon him for the so-called alt-right are disgraceful, McCain said in a statement released on his website yesterday. He says, since these fringe movements cannot attract the support of decent Americans, it resorts to impugning the character of a good man, an outstanding soldier who has served honorably in uniform and sacrificed more for our country than any of his detractors have ever. Senator McCain said, and such smear tactics should not be tolerated and deserve an emphatic response. And McCain likened McMaster's critics to some of the folks of the hatred and ignorance who perpetuated the recent violence in Charlottesville, where white nationalists clashed with other counter-protesters, the Antifa, and I hope that the president will once again stand up for his national security advisor and denounce these repugnant attacks. Well, it upsets McCain. I mean, he understands service. He understands what it means to serve. Now, some websites, including Brett Bart, they have been critical of McMaster, folks, saying that he is purging conservatives from Trump's inner circle. This is the word, purging conservatives. We didn't vote for McMaster and the generals. We voted for Trump because he promised to drain the swamp. Tea Party activist Debbie Dooley told The Hill on Monday McMaster is the ultimate swamp dweller. Boy, oh boy, it's always new development, always something new going on, and it's not easy. At first, I thought to myself, because, McCain, he differs, and sometimes he makes sense, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he's a Democrat, sometimes he sounds like a Republican. I mean, he's a maverick, and we don't know where he stands on this, and I don't know what to really think of McMaster's at the time, but I do know that he honorably served. Is he trying to purge the true conservatives from Trump's inner circle? We didn't vote for McMaster's and the generals. We voted for Trump because he promised to drain the swamp. Tea Party activists, they don't like McMaster, and they're asking to can him. We're going to watch that for sure. While you don't want to alienate the conservatives that are helping Donald Trump, and I believe it would be a big mistake, in my opinion, to be able to let him go. I don't think that Trump's going to. I mean, everybody's got an opinion on how things go. I think everything's going to be stable there for McMaster. I think everything's going to be fine. It's just another person to blame for what happened in Charlottesville. Tiger Woods, by the way, they finally came back with information about what was going on when he was pulled over in Florida months ago.